Kroto. I'm here in Mexico having a great time. Just giving a lecture to some very interesting people. I'm pleased to be back again and hope we can come back again. And well, as you may know, we got the Nobel Prize for discovery of fullerenes in 1996 with two American scientists, Richard Smalley and Bob Curl. All you need is to be interested in, be curious about the way things work, and also be very determined to work as hard as you can to find out how things work. It may not be as good as someone else, but because they are focused on a particular project, and they do it to the best of their ability. And if it happens to be trying to understand something, then that's the scientist. And so if I give a presentation today, it's the best I can do today. If human beings hadn't been alive, we would not have just made this discovery. It's a communal activity, science as well, as a group. So we were equally creative, although C60's been around, it's in space and everywhere else. But the actual process of discovery is very similar to that of an artist who is discovering a new form or making a statement. And we're making a statement also in the sense that we're trying to understand how the universe works in the hope that what our discovery might be valuable for society. I think a scientist, deep down, a scientist is someone who works for the benefit of society. But I think what I think is a problem is that we didn't get where we were today by people just not creating things. We've got our life is better. We have better medical attention. We have many things that we enjoy, like cameras and mobile phones and stuff like that. They weren't created by accountants or supermodels. They were created by people who originally just wanted to understand the way things were. I think one has to recognize that now science has become so useful that the pressures on scientists are to be useful and do things that are important for defense and other things like this. And this is a corruption of the science, and at a very deep intellectual level. And I think for young people, I mean, mathematics isn't that difficult, actually. It's not as difficult as many other things. It's just that they don't learn the language early enough. Latin is much more difficult than mathematics. I mean, learning a language for me is far more difficult than mathematics. And yet, a child can learn a language by the age of 3. So the question is, I think mathematics can be learned that way, very small, but the question is, we don't have an input technology to input that mathematical understanding. They're just lovely to see young people talking about something that they like. And even if they make mistakes, it doesn't matter, because they can speak to other young people to do this. My father didn't teach me particularly, he just insisted that I do my homework. He was very strict on that, and for early years he would check that my homework was up to standard, or up to his standard. My mother would probably come in and say, it's time for Harold to go to bed now. But I had to make sure that my homework was satisfying him at the early period, and so he's very strict on that, in a way that probably was important. But also the only reason I know that I'm in Mexico is my wife, who is over here. Well, she actually told me we're going to California, but it seems that we're in Santa Fe, Mexico, and not Santa Fe, the USA. Time to go.